So, hello. Hello. Stop now. I feel like this is going to be the peak. So hi, I'm going to talk to you all about sort of the value of newbies in kind of a creepy way. I'm going to talk to you about the value of newbies as agents of change. And to give you a little bit of background about myself, I'm Jess. I know everybody here has been to a talk where the person speaking was just completely ridiculous and you wanted to say the whole time, no, you're dumb. So my Twitter handle's down there. And my DMs are open, so if you just want to have a one-on-one, like, excuse me, you seem to be dumb, you can do it privately. There'll also be a lot of space at the end to chat where you can just be like, no, that was dumb. I work for Dream Factory, and I'm always careful not to be too smug because I work in developer relations, and it's this ridiculous job that's amazing, and I'm always worried that work is going to realize the job is too good and take it back. We do an open source platform that lets you automatically generate REST API, which is cool if you need a bunch of APIs for things. And I quite like it because they send me to the Netherlands. Before I got into technology, I worked as a teacher. And I always include the slide to warn people that there's going to be some awkward interactions during this. I'm going to ask you what you think, and you're going to make an uncomfortable face, and it's going to be just like secondary school. I think
this means we have to bring you an apple for you for the teacher.
You guys,
you always have to do that.
Y'all
right?
brought beer. It's fine. We're good.
Okay.
And just as an additional heads up, I'm aware that not everybody's a native speaker of English, and it's really embarrassing to say what. So if I say something that was too fast or you didn't get it, just wave your hand down here. Nobody else can see you, the video can't see you, but it's just a nice subtle like, what the hell, Jess? And I'll just say it again in a different way. Cool. This is going to be a talk about humans mostly. I absolutely love technology. I think technology is insane, and I think technology is beautiful, and I think technology is powerful, and I absolutely love technology. But it's not always as great as we deserve. So technology is marvelous. Maybe some things are a little bit broken. Potentially. Don't send me hate mail. Technology, overall great. A couple things that could use a little bit of tweaking. And that's why I want us to get more of the good things. So I think technology is so great, it deserves to be even better. And I think part of making tech better is get more women involved, get more people of color, get more people from working class backgrounds, people who didn't necessarily go to university but are still great. LGBTQ talent. Does everybody know what neurodiverse means? It just means people who, being really accessible and really encompassing of people who might be on the autism spectrum as well. Yeah, I just want more people, more old people. I plan on getting old. We should please make... You're like 25. Shut up.
Well, a little bit older, but that, I'd say that.
You are either 25 or a vampire, so...
Hey, wait up.
Talent from a wide range of countries. You shouldn't have to be in Silicon Valley to wind up really successful. You shouldn't have to be, I don't know, in Amsterdam to wind up really successful. More of everybody. So I don't want to advocate for getting more of this type of person or more of that type of person, just more of every type of weird, beautiful human. But people who are underrepresented want specific things as well. I want a bunch of these underrepresented people in, but the people who are already here want sort of a better appreciation of their work. More flexible working conditions. So the structures we've built for the people who are already in tech aren't always great for people who aren't well represented. Benefits that match their needs. Who's got free beer at their work? Oh.
Beer?
Yeah.
We don't work on Fridays. So.
Okay, that would probably be a really sweet example. Wow. No work on Fridays?
Yeah, no, we don't work at the office at Fridays.
Oh, I was just...
I'm working at home, so I drink my beer there. And coffee with my wine.
Okay, yeah. So things like working from home, I think, are often much, much better than free beer on Fridays. So, yeah. Recognition within the industry. So the visibility that they might need to be more successful. And harassment-free visibility. So if underrepresented people do become visible, I'm trying really hard not to swear. Just don't be jerks. Better work-life balance, which I think is something Europe tends to do quite a bit better than some other tech centers. So really, we've got two problems. Well, I've got two problems. I assume other people have them as well. Which is, it would be really nice to get more of these diverse people into tech, but diverse people who are in tech want some things to change. So it's really two different problems, but we need to fix both of them. And in fixing both of them, is everybody pretty cool with English idioms? We'll get to a weird English idiom in a second. We've got two models for ways to fix this. There's a conversion model. People who care a lot about cultural change can go around and give talks and give workshops and say, hey, of course you wouldn't, but don't be a jerk, be cool. And they can do that again and again and again in an exhausting fashion that consumes their lives and slowly burns them out and makes them dead on the inside, hypothetically. But I'm really interested in a model that's a bit more zombie related. Instead of, I'm going to convert 3 people who are going to convert 3 people, I want to make little zombie agents. I want to take people who might already share some of my goals, so might share some of the aspects of culture I really want to be a part of technology. And I'm going to help them by adding value. So say, hey, I'm going to help give you the skills to get into technology, but you know, once you're there, do that thing. And by creating newbies, they can go back and say, okay, newbies, once you get in, do this thing. I'm old, I'm tired, be my little zombie newbies. And I think this is a really, really interesting way to get the kinds of cultural changes you want to see in technology while better supporting the industry you're in the office. So a lot of folks who are here, do you work at Nerds & Co? No. I'm getting a lot of... So is it difficult in your workplace? Are you currently hiring for developers?
Yep, always.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah. Right now, you can't get enough of the technical people you need. While you're going ahead and making little agents of cultural change, you can be creating the newbies who can come in and fill your roles in a year, in 5 years. And this really lets you, it sounds horrible, but kill 2 birds with 1 stone? Which is savage. I'd like for there to be very little murder of anything involved in this process, but as many cute little birds as we can kill at once, we're going to go ahead and get that done. But that sounds like a lot of work. I'm supposed to, go and help a bunch of people who aren't working in technology get into technology? Like teach them? Or pay for their university? Or... The first thing I would do is just tell people, just communicate the big things. So when you're talking to people about your job, it's really tempting to say, I work in technology because I love this more than anything. This is my drive. This is the only thing I wanted to do. Who got into technology because this was absolutely what you wanted to be doing every single day? Yeah. All right. Who got into technology because it's hard to be unemployed and the pay is pretty good? Also, I love it. There's no wrong reason to be working. There's no wrong reason to be working in technology, as long as you're not actively doing evil. If you're talking to people about your job, make it sound like something they can do. Say, hey, if you're looking at making a little bit more money, if you're looking at wanting a more flexible role, this is a really great conversion point for get into tech. You can tell them that you look at Reddit all day, but don't encourage them to do that. So you've told people, hey, maybe you want to get into technology, but, and I'm not saying that you're lazy, And I'm not saying people listening are lazy. And I'm not saying that technologists are lazy. I'm saying that humans are lazy. And as technologists or humans, lazy ways to help onboard newbies are some of the best things we can do. So if somebody comes to you and you've told them there's no wrong reason to be in tech, you can get into it, you'll get paid a little bit more, it's really flexible, it's quite fun, you can spend some time goofing off every day. And you want to give them something else. You can just give them stuff to work on. Say, do you know what? Hi, here you go. Free code camp. Say, hey, I'm not going to teach you, and I'm not really going to help you, but here's a website. So who here is front end? Way, front end. I saw a lot of people sort of recoiling in horror at the ugly slides, so I assumed it was front end heavy. Free Code Camp is an online tutorial environment that's free. It covers about 1,600 hours of courses. I don't work for them. I don't get paid by them. I love them. If you find somebody who you think would be a great newbie and they either need to continue to upskill or completely train themselves, just give them this and be like, go away. You've also got things like Code Academy, Code Wars, Learn to Code the Hard Way. You can just give them a website or give them an online community and then shuffle them directly back out the door. It's not the nicest way to interact with newbies, but if you're busy and you're tired, it's much better than nothing. We can just edit that out of the video, it'll be fine. But let's say you want to do a little tiny bit more. You say, hey, here's a website. But you know what, for newbies, they're especially adorable. They're especially charming. They come back to you and they're like, oh, look what I finished. And it warms your icy little heart, so you want to give them a little bit more. And you're all very nice people anyway, so you might want to jump directly to this. For folks who have developed their skills past introductory level, who want to continue to upskill, but don't feel that they're necessarily ready to jump into working in tech, first off, tell them to just work in tech. Who here absolutely knew what they were doing when they got into their last job? All right. I feel like you're just a liar. You were just like, oh yeah, us old people. And you're like, exorcism. Has anybody used exorcism? It's a really, really great higher level tutorial. So it's a tutorial you'll see with mid-range and above technologists, focused around peer-reviewed coding challenges, still completely free. You still don't really need to interact with them. Say, hey, oh good, you did all of the Code Academy stuff. Take this, go away. But, you know, nicely, little pat on the head. There's also online interactive one-on-one tutorials. So this one's peer review, but there's not a lot of human interactivity. If you have a newbie who's upskilled through online tutorials and wants a little bit more, PyLadies does a remote, and unfortunately it's limited to technologists that identify as female, but PyLadies do really great free online coaching and tutorials. So it's much, much more involved than just giving them a URL, but you don't have to do any of it. It's still very just like, go, here, enjoy. But you're glorious people. You're wonderfully kind people. The camera can see you, just not. Yeah, we're really nice. And you want to do much, much more than that. You say, do you know what, I do want to build newbies. I want to build culture change into our local tech scene. And I think that's one of the most powerful things. If you're in a smaller tech center, your ability to do really cool, messed up things to your demographics is so much more powerful. If you're in San Francisco, or if you're in London, or if you're in New York, working with 5 or 10 newbies in a year doesn't really change the face of things. Here, if you're actively converting people who are looking to help you change the culture, if you've got a tech scene of several hundred people, 10 more people a year is massive. You want to do quite a bit more. You want to level right up. Django Girls, you still do quite a bit. It is a free, weekend-long tutorial. You don't have to do any of it, except, you know, you can host if you want, you can coach if you want. They're online, and if you have a newbie who wants quite a bit more interactivity, just send them here. You're done, and everything's fine. You see that there's a lot of very easy choices. Be like, yay, totally get into technology, take this, go away. Rails Girls is amazing as well. So Rails Girls, same concept, but working on Rails. They've also got a Summer of Code program. So companies who just want to throw some money at a problem in a good, nice way. So if you've got a little bit more money than time, sponsoring Summer of Code means that female technologists who are self-taught spend the summer working on paid internships for open source projects. So it's just a really, really cool way of giving people massive amounts of experience, again, with you being like, hey. Lua Ladies is doing quite a bit. And I talked a lot about getting underrepresented people into technology. So all of these are a little bit stilted. They tend to be programs where it's like, hey, for people who are in underrepresented groups. Lua Ladies is amazing, but not really doing much right now. So I think the most effective thing to do over there is have a gentle fuss at them. I wanted to make this more international because I had gotten fussed at for it being very Europe heavy. Black Girls Code is based in the US and is amazing. Transcode is me being selfish because I co-founded this. And it's a series of language agnostic, mixed level, beginner friendly hack days focused around getting members of the transgender community working with tech or technologists focused on transgender community issues. Which means anybody who wants to go can go, you just need to be nice. And we've already established that everybody here is super nice. This is quite a bit like teaching. Everybody's like, yes, just stop. Coding Cupcakes is a mother-daughter program based in the US. Probably not as helpful for us here. Codebar.io is amazing, and I like this one because it's got the most opportunity for people to pitch in. So if you want to actively support people who are learning to program, CodeBar runs a series of workshops in rotating offices. And they have mentors come in and just teach from a set curriculum once a month or once a week, depending on how frequently. So if you want to just show up every 6 months, tutor for a day, and go away confident that you've helped a little bit, CodeBar is great for that. They're across several European cities, so if they're not here right now, you can also set up your own by going to CodeBar. Open Tech School is amazing. They've got several of these across Europe, and as it says on the label, it's an open tech school. I know the one in, they've got a great one in Berlin, and I'm going to get the German person in the room angry because I don't remember if the German one is in Cologne or Dusseldorf, and you should never mix those up. And this is very selfish as well. Open Code is a series of meetups, and they're just open programming study spaces. So any programming language is fine, any skill level is fine, and it's just a peer-supported place to work on your own projects. Up until recently, this has only been in the UK, but there's now an Open Code based in Amsterdam. Anybody can set them up. It's just creating a space and letting technologists know they can come here. Well, here, I love the way I've already signed this office up. You're like, yeah, it'll be fine. Bean bags, some coffee. So it's been just a really, really quick tour of different kinds of programs that you can mentor at or point people at. What am I forgetting? What other kinds of resources are there for people to volunteer with or point newbies at?
Code Club.
Oh God, Code Club. Code Club's amazing. Do you want to talk about it a bit?
I think you know way more about it than me because it's UK based.
Sorry. Code Club's an opportunity to go into primary schools and tutor once a week after school, and I think it's pretty. And it's international now. I think. Please, just yell at me.
Yeah, hackerspaces, I think.
Hackerspaces are pretty great. Are there like a lot of opportunities to mentor, or like?
Depends on the region, I guess, because our region is more hardware based, and when you go to Utrecht or Den Haag, then you will see there are more software based hackers there.
Is there a specific hackerspace that you want to give a shout out to?
Tukkel up.
Yeah, took a lot.
Took a lot.
It's right on the corner. And maybe the I told Annika before, SAS girls. There are some girls on Twitter doing a lot of front end stuff.
Okay.
Maybe.
I've never heard of that. I'll pester you later. Sorry. Anything else? Are there any great programs or resources, ways you can help out just a little bit and still go home and take naps that I've forgotten?
Coder Dojo for kids.
Oh, man, the kids program for Coder Dojo is amazing. And maybe what open code is based on. Maybe. Yeah, Coder Dojo is a really great way to just go and volunteer with kids in a non-school environment that's really, really relaxed. Anything else? This was the teacher-student part that I promised you'd hate.
Must be more.
I know! You know, with the folks in Czech, they had a bunch.
Yeah, okay.
It's a challenge now.
There's I don't know the name of the website. There's a website here in the Netherlands, and then they have for children. They try to collect from all the companies that do something with children. So you have one in Groningen that's doing something for children with all tech stuff in the holidays. And well, I live pretty nearby Groningen, so that's the one I know. So.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, sorry I was bullying
But
you.
it's from they collect it from from the whole country. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think that I might kidnap you for some small, like, collaborative Googling to work out what that is. Are there any other projects?
It's WeCamp is sort of like that, but you need to get sponsored because it is paid.
Okay.
But it's programmers of any level on an island together for a week.
Like
So
an island?
Yes, an actual island. You rent the island, and it's sort of glamping. There's
You could
Wi-Fi.
be making this up, and I'd be like, yeah, all right, yeah.
No, I went there last year to try and help as a more senior member to teach more junior folks, and some of the companies sponsor free spaces for noobs to get in. So it's kind of, you need to know someone who knows someone, or just pester anybody to pay my ticket, pay my ticket. But it's really great because once you're on the island, you don't know who is senior, junior, noob, or somebody walks on and they're like, what do you do? I do the catering. And they could still be a better programmer than you. So.
I always assume everybody's a better programmer than me. Cool. Oh, I'm not Jamal. Come on.
There are many capture the flags around the internet, front end, back end, and hacking stuff. So you can join them anytime, I think.
Like capture the flag?
Something like that, but then with code.
Okay.
So.
Here's a front door. Kick it in.
Code fights or wars or.
Is it because I joked about how he could be making stuff up? Because that sounds awesome, and I would really like to believe there's like
code
a
fights. There are many websites.
Hacker specific.
Yeah.
Instead of learning to program for a client, you can learn to hack things for a client, and you can capture the flag.
Not only hack, there are even front end battles.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh, that makes quite a bit more sense.
Yeah.
I thought you meant, oh, we'll go play capture the flag and then we'll get our laptops out.
They call it capture the flag, I think, in
That-
IRCs.
Cool. I am 40% more willing to believe that.
We could give you a URL. There's a Twitter handle. Bram, tweet.
There are so many mentorship programs. So who here had like a very official mentor at some point? Oh, cool.
A little bit.
Oh, well.
This one.
Oh. But mentorship doesn't have to be massive. You can just be this cool person in somebody's life. You don't have to meet up with them twice a month to be like, okay, tell me how things are going at work. You could just say, hey, what's a very, very common Dutch name? Like John, but Dutch.
Henk.
Jan.
Hey, Hank. Hey, Hank, how have things been going? Oh, that's great. What are you working on? High five. Good day to you. So just very, very casual, being cool to newbies is so much more valuable than anybody could ever know. Make yourself a visible resource. So every now and again, I'll tweet this. Just letting people know, hi, if you want to get into technology, I'm really happy to help. And I get a lot of people interested in learning about technology, and then like 5% crazy people. So, if you're patient with roughly 5% crazy people, this is a really, really nice way to just be like, yay, here, and copy and paste those links from earlier. Be like, here, good job. You don't even have to deal with humans in the wild. It's glorious. Do mentorship your way. So if you find somebody who's doing something really interesting, just drop in and say, hey, I saw that you were working on this feature. I saw that you had this documentation for the open source project I like. I'd like to talk about it. I'd like to talk about what you're doing. Can you tell me your reason behind it? You don't have to have an ongoing relationship with someone to be sort of a really, really lazy micro-mentor. You can be a drive-by mentor. Like, hey, this is interesting. Have some positive feedback. Have some critical feedback. And then again, just leave. I think the most valuable thing is the most exhausting thing. So everything I've talked about in supporting newbies to try and make them your own little robots of culture change is about people coming to you and saying, I need this, or I want this, or what's a resource. Talking to people in your life who aren't necessarily working in technology and may not have ever considered it is a really, really incredible thing to do. So who here went to university for computer science and you are technologists and technologists forever? That's okay, don't be ashamed. Oh, who here did something else before you got into technology? Who here got into tech as a grown-up? Yay, grown-up. It was hard, but not that bad. It's doable, right?
Yeah, it's doable.
Yeah.
If you want to, then it's doable.
Let people know who haven't considered it. I did this. I switched from being an archaeologist. I switched from being an archaeologist. I just got really tired of all the Indiana Jones business, and now I'm a programmer. Or you know what? It just wasn't exciting enough being a surgeon. I'm now a programmer. Let people know that this is an option, it's completely possible, and that it would be really cool for them to try. But be aware that people's experiences are really different. Be honest about what kinds of different experiences people might encounter. So if you're really well represented in technology, it's often difficult to see issues that might be an issue for underrepresented folks that aren't very visible. You don't want to say, oh, hey, you want to get into technology, it's terrible for women, everything's terrible, just, it's all on fire, it's terrible. Don't do that. Be honest in a measured way. Talk about what kinds of issues could happen and may happen, but balance that really responsibly. Say, hey, you're going into security, or you're looking at going into UX. Here are some people who are talking about their experiences that might be different than mine. Here are some issues that might happen. But while talking about issues that might be an issue for underrepresented people, continue to talk about what's valuable. Say, hey, I see that this can be a problem for people, but we still want you in our community. It's still really important for you to be here, and you can work from home on Friday. Once people get into your community, once you've done all of these things, you gave people the website to study, and they went away and they came back, and you gave them a tutorial program and they came back, and you started mentoring them and they came back, damn it, and they got into a job and they're great, you still have to be nice to them. You still have to not be horrible to them. You have to be supportive of people who exist in your communities, especially if they look like they're going through a hard time. Clearly, we've gathered some of the nicest, loveliest, snuggliest people in tech in this very room. I love all the gently uncomfortable faces as well. So it's not a problem here, but folks watching on the video, just keep being nice. I imagine you're nice too. I've been talking this whole time about getting more women into tech, more minorities into tech, more underrepresented people. And I respect that that's not what everybody cares about. There are people who genuinely think that tech is absolutely fine the way it is, and maybe if we could go back about 10 years, that would be even better. And that's an opinion. That's not an opinion I share. But the really cool thing is if anybody, and I'm not gonna hate on you, if anybody has the opinion that you don't want tech to change, you don't want people coming in and changing the way things are, the way that you combat that is amazing. You get to onboard your own newbies. If you don't want things to change around you, the only effective way to fight a culture war is to bring in more foot soldiers. You could be terrible to people, but I don't think anybody wants to do that. If you want to keep things the same, onboard your own newbies and be great to them. Cool. Thank you very much. Yeah, sorry, it's very, very fluffy and human. Does anybody have any fluffy human questions?